Hello everybody and welcome to the show. On my review table we have something very shiny, very glossy, very leggy. From the new Black Panther movie, Wakanda Forever, we have Ironheart, aka Riri Williams. Let's look closer at our packaging. Here we can appreciate the artwork a little bit better on all sides. I really enjoy the way that this design on the side of the box looks. It seems to be a CGI image from her armor in the movie. And here's the back of the box. This is my first experience with the plastic-free packaging, and I gotta say, I am not against it. I know a lot of people have their issues with it, and I think the biggest problem comes down to, can we trust other people? Can we trust the company to not put a defective product in the box with a bunch of paint scraps or missing pieces? Can we trust other customers to not go into the store, buy it, and then return it with something else in the box? I don't know, and I guess time will tell. But I do think the intention is great. I like the idea of trying to reduce pollution, trying to save this planet as much we can. And here she is, in all of her shiny, glossy glory. The first thing I noticed when I got Riri out of her packaging was actually her head sculpt. She comes packaged with her civilian head already on the figure, and it looks awesome. I really like the detail that they put from the color of the lips to the expression on her face. Even the textures in her hair. I'm not sure if they should all be the same color in between the braids, but I still think it looks great. After appreciating how great her head sculpt is, the second thing I noticed was, wow, she got some long legs. I mean, look at those things. But the design actually started growing on me. At first, I didn't like the proportions. I thought they were strange, but the more I look at it, the more I feel like the length of her legs give her a strong presence. And that's more prevalent when you put the helmet accessory on her. I like this little touch that they put there, the nice blue to break up all the red that you see around her. And I'm assuming that's supposed to be her heart for Ironheart. I think that's really cool. I do wish they put more paint on the back of her. That's kind of sad. And I don't know why they gave her a titanium tramp stamp, but you can notice there are ports on her back, and that's for some of the accessories that she comes with. And I'm assuming that that's why they didn't put too much paint on the back, is because she's probably going to have those accessories on her most of the time. Here she is with her armored head sculpt. I was debating whether to show the armored head sculpt with the accessories, but I wanted to show off the difference that the head sculpt makes in the presence and the style of this figure. She almost looks like if a race car became a supermodel. Check out more of her details and the sculpt. You can see I got a little paint scratch right there. And there's our gauntlets. Not sure what those do yet, but I'd like to find out. I wonder how much the Wakandans will have a hand in crafting this armor. I wonder if there's going to be any vibranium in it. From certain angles, I get very Dora Milaje vibes. Or if it might even have been meant for someone else. Like maybe Okoye. I wonder what she could do in some Iron Man armor. Here's a better look at all the accessories that she comes with. Since she's a deluxe figure, she's gonna come with a lot. This is what she looks like without any accessories whatsoever. Since she has so many, you're just gonna have to bear with me because it might take a while to get through them all. Here she is with her open hands and her human head. Here's a close-up of her hands. It looks almost like they have little hearts on the back of them. That's awesome. And there's the insides of her hands. You can see that on all of her hand sculpts, they have the thumbs painted red and the other parts of the hand are just black. And you can see the little ports to put some blast effects. Speaking of blast effects, here they are. You can port them in her hands, and she has spots on her feet. Aside from getting these clear blue energy blasts, you also get these smoky gray smoke effects. And here's one by itself so you can see what it looks like. You basically just wrap it around the blast effect and you put it through the middle and it'll just kind of stay where it is. And that's what it looks like all together. Here's a close-up of her fists. And she has that nice design on them. Here she is with her booster accessory. You can see they've got some silver paint, and then that looks like it's just casted out of a different plastic. I'm not sure if that color is supposed to match like this gold that she's got throughout the rest of her. But it's not shiny enough to really seem like they match. But they do have this nice black paint. You can see inside the turbines a little bit better. And they've got a nice like honeycomb texture. You can port blast effects in these silver pieces. You just have to pop them in. And these are the blast effects that also came with her. And they're just like a little piece of flame basically. Let's just take a closer look at one of the turbines on its own with the blast effect in it. So to place it in her back, all you have to do is match up the pegs and the ports. And just make sure that you push it all the way in, because there are a lot of times where I think it's in, but it's not. And you can see right there, there's that gap. Make sure it's pushed all the way in, and then it won't come out. But I'm not sure how well that will hold up over time. On the turbines, you might have noticed those two little holes. That's for her next accessory. It's this little silver cable. You plug one end into either one of the ports. Then you put the other side into her next accessory, which is this really nice looking, I'm not sure what it is, a railgun maybe? I don't know. But you just place that cable into that little hole that you see right there. And then to put it on, you just have to remove her hand, and then you just slide it over almost like a glove. So you just gotta grab the hand, pop it off. You're just gonna take the gun and just slide it over her hand. And it fits and it'll stay just like that. But for added effect, you can connect the gun to the cable. Even though it seems that they had to go in and paint each one of these triangles, I don't see any paint slop. That's really well done. If you decide that you don't want to use the gun and you don't know what to do with this cable, you don't want to get it lost, I just connect it into both turbines at once. It looks something like that. And from the front, you don't even see it. It can also help store the railgun when you're not using it, but it won't be very sturdy. Let's take a closer look at these gauntlets that she came with. You can see that it seems to be casted out of a black plastic and then painted with a little bit of blue and a little bit of gold on the trim. I think that blue could have gone up higher, like maybe this whole square could have been blue, because the amount that's there now is... I wonder what purpose these gauntlets will serve in the movie, because they actually help out Ironheart in multiple different ways. Without her gauntlets, her arms look very thin compared to her giant race car legs that she's got. And if you really imagine like a person in this suit, if their arm's already this thin with all this armor around it, I mean, imagine what, it's just bones down there. But I get why they did that, because if they gave her proportional arms and then you add the gauntlets and all this other stuff, she'd be much more bulky than she needs to be. This figure looks sleek, and I think that's where they wanted to keep the design. All that bulk would not have helped. But in order to break up the red and to give her a little bit more presence, you can put these gauntlets on her. And I've noticed that you can put them on either way. So this is how they come in the package, but you can also flip it around and push it in this way. And to me, that looks a little bit better. If you can look in there, you can see an R2 that lets you know that it's for the right arm. So to put it on, all you have to do is just make sure that her hands are off and just slide it over. Then pick a hand of your choice and just pop it on like normal. Here's with her gauntlet on the correct way, and then this is what it looks like when you put it on backwards. To take off the gauntlets, all you have to do, you're gonna have to remove the hand. So normally, if they're on this way, it's harder to get to the hand at all. I take my thumb, I put it on hers, I take my finger and I put it on the gauntlet and I just pull. And that's how you can easily remove both at once. This is what it's like putting the repulsor blast effects in our hands with the gauntlets on. I tried pointing them as forward as I could, but they both are hindered by the shape of the gauntlet, no matter what direction you put it in. However, the elbow seems to be less hindered when you have the gauntlet orientated that way, as opposed to that way, which makes the whole thing move around. But if you really want to, all you have to do is just rotate the gauntlets around a little bit, and that will allow for clearance for her wrist to move, and then she'll be able to blast anybody you want. I also like the idea of Riri using the repulsor blast as some sort of an energy blade. And when you have that in mind, using them on her legs kind of adds a whole new level to it. Oh boy, that was a lot of accessories. But we got through it, and now it's time to look at Ironheart's articulation. So we already know her head is on a ball joint, so it can spin 360. It's got that hinge, so you can go back really far. It's awesome for flying poses. The helmeted version can extend back further than her civilian head sculpt because of the hair. But that's awesome. That goes up to a great range. And then down, that's pretty good. Her shoulders are a little limited by these rubber armor pieces. They can only go out to about that far. But the armor moves with the shoulder when you spin it around, and it can do that 360 with no problem whatsoever. She has a bicep swivel, double jointed pinless elbow that goes all the way back, and there's the articulation with the gauntlet, and you can see it's a little bit less, but it's still way more than 90. She got swivels at the wrist, and they all have the same horizontal high five hinge. The gauntlet doesn't hinder the rotation, but it does hinder the hinge. She has a diaphragm swivel that goes 360 and goes down just a little bit, but it goes back decently well. No waist swivel. Her legs can kick out to there if you really try. They can kick forward that much, but they start going off to the side. She only kicks about that far without turning her leg. And it's because of these massive hips and thighs that she has. She also has a hip swivel and it gets hindered again because it is too big, so it can't go 360. Double jointed pinless knees. So she has interesting foot articulation. I assume this is her ankle, and it can go back that far and forward that far. You can rotate these individually. So her toe and her heel both rotate 360 on their own. Wish that they were on two separate hinges, that way you could almost pinch them together or push them apart rather than moving them both at the same time. Because when you try to get her in a nice standing pose, it's very difficult because her toes and heels are so small they barely even touch the floor. They don't make any contact, so it doesn't really provide balance. And yes, she can make the pose. Let's head on over to comparison time. Here she is with the mighty Thor Jane Foster and Thor Odinson from the Korg Build-A-Figure Wave Marvel Legends. And even with Riri's longer robot legs, she's still not as tall as the God of Thunder. But she is taller than the mighty Thor. This is what she looks like when she stands next to Marvel's Mech Strike Iron Man and a Marvel Legends Iron Spider-Man. She's taller than both. Here she is next to Red Ranger Raphael from Power Rangers Lightning Collection, and another long-legged machine, Optimus Prime. You can see the difference in reds between all three. Even though they're both very leggy robot type figures, I think her proportions come out a little bit better because of the gauntlets. Optimus Prime, I've always thought his arms are a little too short for his long legs, but he still looks great. Here are a couple action figures from a 4-inch line called Final Faction. They can be found at the Dollar Tree. You can see that they come up to about her elbow. Finally, we must compare her to Pumpkin Wrapper's Big Head. Alright, we made it to the end of the video where we get to discuss my final thoughts and any possible adjustments that I think we could make to better enjoy this action figure. Originally, I had zero expectations for this figure, and I honestly didn't even plan on buying it. It wasn't until I was actually in the store and I saw the packaging and I saw how many accessories that she came with, and I thought, you know what, let's give it a shot and let's see. And I'm pleasantly surprised with how she turned out. The only possible improvement that I think we could make is with her hips. She has very limited range in her hips, to the point to where the only way that she can kick out is if she kicks her leg out to the side like that. So I'm thinking about going in and shaving down this area of her hip that sticks out right there, and that should allow enough clearance, because you can see that's what's bumping into each other right there. Or you could cut down on her thigh itself, but I figure since the thigh is more noticeable, it'd be less invasive to just shave down that part of the hip. However, since this is my only copy of Ironheart, I'm not planning on doing that just yet, because the articulation that she has now is perfectly fine for me. I think this figure does everything that it needs to do. It comes with a ton of accessories, and they all have different options that you can play around with. You saw that I used the smoke accessory for multiple different uses, same as the repulsor, and even the gauntlets. So this just has so much play value and entertainment value, and it looks great. I really enjoyed the design. It keeps reminding me of almost like if Flash and Iron Man kind of came together to make an armor. And I'm only saying Flash because these long legs looks like she should be able to run faster than anybody else out there. I would definitely recommend this figure, and I'm actually excited to see what this character does in the movies. because of this figure. I want to be able to go to the movie and see all of these accessories on the big screen and see what they can all do and what they're all capable of and what she's actually able to do with them. Let me know in the comments down below if there are any other adjustments that you think should be made to Ironheart so that we could better enjoy this action figure. Or message me on any of these social media platforms. If there are no other adjustments to be made, then tell me in the comments down below if you plan on getting this action figure or if you already own it and your feelings on it. Making it to this far in the video is more than I could ever even ask for. So I want to genuinely thank you all from the bottom of my heart. If you enjoyed this content, please leave a like and subscribe. Let me know that you actually want to keep watching this. And if you don't, if you hate my channel and you hate my reviews, maybe you just hate my voice, let me know. I want to know how I can improve. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed yourself today. Please go find some time to have a nice chuckle and be nice to somebody. I'll see you next time.